Hi, my name is Kris Venezia. I'm an advisor at Eckman Wealth Management. I'm even wearing the company polo for this video. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some things to do and to look out for as we head towards the end of 2024. I know it's already getting that point where pretty soon we'll be at Thanksgiving and the holidays and doing all of that. So, just some stuff to look out for to avoid some nasty surprises at tax time. Always want to get ahead of those, avoid any surprise emails or some unfortunate phone calls with your accountant. So I think the first thing probably seems obvious, but life events. I've talked to people, they get married, they get divorced, they have kids, and they go into tax time, and the tax situation looks all over the place. If you've gotten married, if you've gotten divorced, if you've had, a child, twins, as two of my clients had twins this year, definitely make sure to be aware of that, be aware of the impact on that. If you're married, a lot of times that means for the full year, you're going to be, married filing jointly. That can have some pretty serious impacts if you're a dual income household. So definitely something to keep track of. Likewise with divorce, typically means a change in the tax status. If your company hasn't been notified about it, your payroll withholdings are going to be probably off for where your tax filing is going to be. So be in touch with, be in touch with HR, as those changes happen, and certainly, be in touch with any accountants or tax professionals as those things happen. On top of that, while you're thinking about that, a lot of times open enrollment is coming up in the back half of this year in the next couple of months. Once again, divorced, child, married, that's a great time to take a little extra care at open enrollment and maybe evaluate those options, differently. If you've had a child, the health insurance, certainly is a different, situation probably than if you were single on health insurance. So definitely make sure to take that into account. If you've had a life event, really recommend, digging through and looking through, possibly consulting with somebody like myself about that benefit sheet to make sure that you position yourself. Things like life insurance can be paid with kids coming into the picture or getting married as well if you're, the primary breadwinner. Other thing to look at are those retirement type accounts or those qualified accounts, we call them. So 401k is a big one, or 403b, 457, if you're one of them. Definitely make sure that your retirement contributions are okay. And this happens every year. Make sure you're not over contributing. Every year there's people who over contribute and at tax time have to send, in some cases, a check to the 401k company or do some type of legwork to rectify going over on retirement contributions. So definitely take a look at your pay stub or log in and look at your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement contributions are where they should be. HSA is another one that happens all the time. Make sure you're not over contributing to the HSA. If you have an FSA, if you're one of those, when it comes to health, health type medical cost spending accounts, FSA has some windows when you can use the funds. So definitely make sure you don't miss out on using any funds in the FSA because that window does eventually end. Other retirement account types, a Roth IRA, there are income limits there. So, if your income has gone up a lot, you might get to tax time and think, oh, I can make that Roth IRA contribution, or you made a Roth IRA contribution. It's going to come to tax time. You're going to have to take that money out. So just make sure, if you are contributing to a Roth, make sure if there's been any income changes that you are eligible to make that Roth contribution. If your income has gone up a lot, there's backdoor Roth could potentially be an option for you. The deadline is different for a backdoor Roth versus a regular Roth contribution. Backdoor Roth end of the calendar year, Roth, regular Roth contribution, by the tax deadline, which is April of 2025. So certainly be aware if you're taking advantage of a Roth, income changes, deadlines on some of those options as well. And the last one I'll point out is stock options. It just happens. You sign on a company, they vest in a year, kind of goes on to the back burner. Year or two passes, you have options that maybe have vested. It's good to take a moment, log into the platform if there's a good platform your company has, or evaluate the best you can your stock options. Have they vested? What's vested? If I exercise those options, if they're those types of stock options, what does that mean? and also making sure when it does come to accessing and utilizing stock options, we're not triggering any sort of big tax bills as well. So good opportunity in the fall. I feel like a lot of times when I work with clients, the spring and summer when options vest. I know it varies on when people sign on, but I think just in my experience, spring and summer is when we see a lot of those vestings come into play. So good opportunity in the fall to take a look and say like, okay, where's my options package at? What's coming up? And I think the final thing on options is if you've acquired a lot of company stock, could be worth considering, am I over invested in my company stock, right? If you're working somewhere and you have a lot of your assets concentrated in the same spot, you kind of risk that double whammy of the company starts performing a little worse, the share prices fall, and then there's some insecurity on the part of the job. So definitely make sure you're evaluating, your stock options and your stock holdings in your company. If you have any questions about any of these things, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. The Eckman Wealth team is happy to help. If you have any other suggestions for things to do at year end or you disagree with anything I said, put them in the comments below. Happy to respond and take feedback there. Thank you.